Welcome to Veterans Memorial Stadium in downtown Snohomish, Washington for Glacier Peak football on your home for live streaming sports, STSBN.com. Tonight, the Grizzlies welcome the Lake Stevens Vikings from the 4A Wesco North. School hasn't started yet, but we will learn a lot tonight about this 2012 version of Glacier Peak football. We'll be right back after this with the Mongos pregame show on the Snohomish Times Sports Network. Their team this year, couple huge key guys, and let's start with number 21. I think you have to start with him, Sean Elledge.
Oh, yeah, he's going to come back huge. A returning state champion wrestler this year.
That's why we call him the wrestler.
That's right. The wrestler comes back with a state title. Looks like he's a little bit bigger. Steve Hannon said he's probably one of the fastest guys on the team earlier. He told me that. He's going to be huge.
Looks like you're seeing on your screen right now that Glacier Peak is receiving. While that's going on, then the big surprise, Tim, for you and I when we went to the spring game was Quentin Dunbar, number 8. Oh, my good. Steaks and shakes in the offseason. He's a beast mode.
He's a horrid beast, Scott.
It's just unbelievable.
And I mean that as a compliment. I didn't recognize him. I remember me saying, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And he looks like he grew about 2 inches and gained about 20 pounds of muscle. Look out for him. I expect him to have a big game tonight.
Now, a new player that people are going to get to know, we think, a lot, wearing number 5 of Evan Nelson, the TD Fest kid that he's graduated, is a new kid that moved into town from California, Marcos Baruch, wearing number 5. What do you know about him?
Well, he's kind of a ghost of Evan Nelson. They wear the same number. They play the same positions. I'm not exactly sure if he's got the speed of Evan Nelson, but I think you look for him to be all over the place, just like you did with Evan Nelson.
The other thing, obviously, we can't go on any further before we talk about the varsity quarterback, Chris Becerra. This is his team now. He's laid in the background now for 3 years. He's a senior. He's a big kid. What do you think of Chris Becerra?
Well, I think it's a lot like last year when David Linney got the start. We weren't sure. We had some ideas, but we were kind of in this exact same boat last year. We're kind of like, hey, what's going to happen with David Linney? Becerra's a little bit different. He's not quite as fast, but he's more of a bruiser type quarterback. So we'll have to see, but they're expecting a lot out of him, obviously.
And then the biggest thing when we talk in the offseason with Coach Rory Rosenbaugh coming into his 5th year this year for Glacier Peak, he's so excited about his offensive line and his defensive line, and that kind of leads off with big number 77, Nate Sandstrom, Carson Call, all the big horses up front.
If I remember right, Rose said it's like probably the best or one of the best lines he's ever had, and he's had a couple state championship teams. So I think they're going to be solid. I think it's going to be hard for any team to contend with them.
And Roe, from early on, even the spring game and then the blue-silver game we just did last week, defense. He feels like this year coming in, he's always got a potent offense, but defense is going to be his strength. And we talked to defensive coordinator, Coach Steve Hannon, and here's what he had to say with Tim earlier tonight.
Welcome, everybody. Tim Boyle here with Coach Steve Hannon, defensive coordinator of Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Steve, everyone's all excited tonight. You got 4A Lake Stevens, 1 game away from the state championship last year. What's the keys to the game for you and the defense?
Well, I mean, just with any game, I think it's the same. We have to do what we do really well. We have to be disciplined. We have to know what our jobs are, and we have to do our jobs as fast and as strong and as powerful as we possibly can, and hope for the best. They're good. They're a good football team. They're coached well. Their kids are good athletes, and it's going to be a really good matchup. Should be exciting.
Very good. Any big changes we still see this year compared to last year on the defense?
No, I think we're just getting more comfortable with what we do. We're gonna, we always have little things with different teams that we do and try to exploit, and different players and personnel settings that they have that we're going to try to attack if we can. So there's always those little nuances of that, but for the most part, we're going to do what we do.
Very good. What players are you expecting a big game out of tonight?
Well, you always expect big things from Sean Elledge. You always expect big things from Quentin Dunbar, and we have a whole line of about 6 guys that we're going to rotate in the defensive line. So we'll see. Someone's going to stand out.
Very good. Well, hey, we're looking forward to it. Appreciate you taking the time with us, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
So now, Tim, let's head it back as we're about 5:30 left for kickoff here. Let's talk about Lake Stevens. We just talked to Coach Tom Try. Tell the viewers a little bit about what we're looking at here for Lake Stevens this year.
Well, I think Lake Stevens, as many of you may not know, they lost some huge players. A lot of them are playing on Saturdays. They got the quarterback and a couple of the other guys playing over at Ellensburg. They were one game away from the state championship last year. Ran the table in the regular season, undefeated, won the league, went right through the playoffs, beating people. So that's the kind of talent they have. Although they lost some key players, they're still going to be really good. They got a lot of experience, and as the coach said, they're going to. It's hard for them to be conservative. We're going to see probably a lot of. What did he say?
He said 20, 25, even 30 times they're going to pass the ball.
He said, "I'm going to chuck it around a little bit."
I'm going to chuck it around. Other thing on Tom Try, great guy. It's going into his 8th year this year. He lost a lot of coaches. He had to completely almost rebuild his coaching staff.
He did. Now they all went to Cascade. So not only has he got to replace a bunch of players that are playing on Saturdays now, he's got a whole new coaching staff. So he's got his work cut out for him. And then he comes in on the road, opens up against Glacier Peak. Huge game for him.
And he has a lot of respect for Glacier Peak. He's coming in. He does have quite a large, heavy set, good, big, tough offensive line and defensive line. So it's going to be interesting to see up front the ball game as far as that's the strength of GP and also the strength of the Vikings. One of the big keys is number 8, Andrew Elgin, always a pre-season all-conference and everything else like that.
We're going to see him on both sides of the ball. They even said we may see him at quarterback even.
So 8 also. Then you got in Connor Coleman, number 17. They seem to be one of his big play guys.
We'll see him a lot too. Definitely, we'll see him at wide receiver, probably playing both sides of the ball.
Also, Brandon Johnson, a 6'3" senior, as they're doing the national anthem right now. We'll be back with the Mongo's pregame show in just a second and the start of the kickoff on Snohomish Times Sports Network.
Step inside Mongo's at Clearview for an experience you have to taste to believe. Customers come to Mongo's for the friendly service, down-to-earth atmosphere, and of course, the menu. We use only the freshest ingredients to prepare every dish, and everything we make starts from scratch each morning, like our delicious freshly caught salmon and our mouth-watering burgers. Perfect for ordering to go or dining in. What you don't see is how much energy our chefs put into every meal, but we think the results speak for themselves. Just see what our customers are saying. They dream of our fish tacos. They love our fabulous chef, and whether it's lunch or dinner, they can't get enough. We love what we do, and we think you'll agree once you take that first bite. When you come hungry, we want you to leave happy. Mongo's at Clearview. Stop in anytime.
Okay, so as we get ready as the teams now, we're under a minute to go for kickoff. We're glad you're here. Welcome to STSPN for Glacier Peak football tonight.
Lake Stevens is fired up.
Lake Stevens is fired up. We've got some new tricks and new things going on this year. Hope you enjoy them. Hope they're coming through at home for you. Also, big night in Wesco starting off tonight. Not only Wesco, but Kingco and everywhere. You got the Bothell Skyline game.
That's a huge game. But number 1 versus number 5 right out of the gate. Good big game because we got to play Bothell in a few weeks. So we're going to look to see what happens there. You got Snohomish is at Oak Harbor, another game that has a lot of impact on us because we're going to play Snohomish next week. So we're looking to see what happens there.
School is still out, so we have a little lighter crowd than normally. But again, temperatures are absolutely perfect. Probably a little warm for the kids down there on the field. But we do have, I guess they've kind of filled in.
Kind of got a late burst in the crowd here. Yeah, it is. It's not better than I thought it was going to be. And we do kind of like what we opened up with last year, just a gorgeous day for football.